Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute Marvel. Today we're going to be talking about episodes 2 and 3 of Daredevil Born Again, or as I like to call them, the prelude and episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. We'll break that down later. As well as, of course, we have our news and rumors to talk about. But before we get to all of that, I am your host, Petter, and my illustrious, nose-haired co-host.
Yeah. I feel like we need to just explain what we mean by that real quick.
Nope, not at all.
Maybe
Just go.
it'll be post credits. Post credits, people, if you want to stick around after the show, we'll explain why my nose hairs are as important as as at least mentioning them on this podcast. So thanks for joining everybody, and thanks for coming back for my nose hairs. And if you'd like to support this absolute car crash of a show, you can find us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is 10 Minute Marvel. That's what you can search for. Give us a like and thumb smash that subscribe button. Find and follow us on Facebook and that other thing with an X, of course. And it's hashtag 10MinMarvel. 10MinMarvel, people. And of course, you can leave a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from.
I get mine from North Dakota.
Oh, what the heck? There's nothing that comes out of North Dakota that's worth listening to. Is there? I have
I,
I have an aunt and uncle and relatives in North Dakota. I should really watch my mouth because I'll hear about it next holiday.
um, yeah. No, I got nothing.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a stab at this again, see if I can get it right. I think we're gonna go with I'm gonna say there's not any news and it's only rumors, so we're gonna do rumors first.
There are two pieces of news, so we're going to do
Son
rumors
of
first.
a- okay.
So, in the Doomsday reshoots that are scheduled and occurring, I believe, currently, or they will be starting very shortly, the Russos are reworking a couple of scenes. It's fairly normal. Really not, I won't say reworking as in like scrapping something and redoing it. The rumors are stating that it's like small reshoots, kind of refining and tightening up some scenes, which with the rumored original cut being about 4 hours, probably need to make sure you tighten some stuff up. But also in there, Doomsday adding in new cameos. What could
Hmm.
those be? Who could those be, Greg?
New cameos.
I want names.
Sadie Sink.
Sure.
Still umming. You got anybody?
Andrew Garfield.
Think so?
But no, honestly, I think more likely new new cameo options might be characters like as I'm blanking on names here, but some
John
of the
Malkovich.
well, sure. John Malkovich for sure. But Halle Berry
Hmm.
or yeah, characters like that, I would say are more probable.
So X-Men. You feel like it's gonna be more of an
X-Men
X-Men thing?
characters, yep. Or like just the characters who are like, oh, well, it's kind of odd that they weren't in there, that sort of thing. So X-Men characters are kind of the biggest for that, at least for me. Who else? Like, are there Avengers characters who haven't been mentioned?
Sorry, I had to let my dog out. What was that?
Are there Avengers characters we haven't really mentioned? Because so many of them are already in there.
Hmm. Scarlett Johansson.
I mean, that would
She's
be
done.
very
She's done being pregnant.
true.
I think probably.
It's
But
possibly true.
I mean, of course it's rude, but like likelihood. Do you think that they'll bring her back for a little bit of a like maybe she's like a Black Widow that didn't really come on board with the Avengers? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
it's an
so a
alternative.
variant one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they must have wanted to do some of the stuff at the end to avoid, I don't know, maybe to avoid from being paparazzied in a sense, like being seen by some of the reporting and drones flying over. I don't know, just a way to kind of
Possible.
sneak it in.
Yeah, and that certainly is, I think, an option of all right, we have these new character or these old characters that we want to get in there, but we don't want people to know that we're getting them in there. Yeah, I could see that. That's
I think that, what about like as I'm eyeing Daredevil here on the side of me, some Daredevil playing. Do you think they're gonna do any sort of like I mean Daredevil's been shooting, well, I guess that's been done for a while. So I was thinking like I'm thinking like
Daredevil's.
conflicts, right? Like things that have maybe been shooting, people have been busy. Now that they're done, they can bring them in.
Well, and
Zendaya.
that's sure, Zendaya.
Tom
If you want,
Holland.
yeah. But honestly, I'm not sure about the Daredevil ones because they're filming the next season now.
Yeah, that's so I don't know. I'm sure it's just scheduling, right? It's got to be just scheduling. What like who's wrapped something and who's kind of available now?
And it doesn't have to be just Wrap Something. Who wasn't available because they were filming something else during the original filming of it? Tom Holland is probably the most obvious one for that.
Hemsworth, has he been doing something?
Well, he already filmed though,
Oh, he already
and
did
he was
this.
he was on the list. Greg, there are so
I
many
don't keep track
things.
of this stuff. I leave that up to you. And you
All
just
right.
correct me in front of everybody, which is fine.
Mhm.
It's sad, but it's fine.
I feel sad for you. No.
I feel sad for our listeners going, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. I don't. That's true. But I'm here just to entertain.
That's true. Your entertainment value is high.
Yeah. Too bad you don't pay me for it.
Yep.
Ah,
That's because we're a
gotcha.
very serious podcast, and
Right.
yeah.
Wait,
But moving on to the next rumor, this one from James Macwell as well. I don't know if I mentioned that for the first one, but that was James as well. The Spider-Man Brand New Day will end with Peter Parker being presumed missing or dead. Presumed dead or missing, I guess, probably the correct way to put that.
so again, this is happening at the same time as what was that
Theoretically.
theoretically right? I'm just wondering, is he going to be like the Miles Morales of this, or in the
No,
story? Because
I don't.
wait, was he in the chairs for Doomsday?
No, he was not.
So will he then show up in Secret Wars as the Miles Morales? Here's a hamburger.
Could.
Because are they not really? They don't have Miles Morales. They can't do that. Sony owns it. So
Right. But theoretically, I think now this is one of the rumors that's going around is that Marvel and Sony are playing really well together right now.
so cute.
I know. Does that increase the likelihood that we just get a Miles Morales, though?
I hope so.
Because Sony's should look at it if they were smart, and I'm not ready to give them that yet, but they should look at it and go like, okay, we can make a lot of money by letting by just sharing the rights or sharing the character into the MCU.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly probably might. If I see him at the end of Secret Wars or whatever, I might stand up and cheer. Like that might actually physically get me on,
Yeah,
which is not normal for me in a movie theater. I'm pretty chill.
yeah. And then there are three more rumors here, Greg. All of them for kind of the supernatural side of things going forward in the MCU. First off, Marvel, this is the rumor that Marvel is developing a Sleepwalker limited series for Disney Plus to lead into Midnight Sun.
Okay.
I
So
gotta
tell.
ask you the important question.
Yeah.
Tell
You
the
get
listening audience about Sleepwalker.
pause for dramatic effect. Sleepwalker.
Dream Police.
Okay. What do I know? I don't know anything, so I'm cheating. He's named after his race and is star of a self-titled comic book that is just
So kind of a dream police. They apprehend any beings that invade the sleeping minds of humans. That's so like the race of sleepwalkers.
they okay. So he's part of the Dream Police. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Yep.
Team affiliations: Shield, Secret Defenders, Sleepwalkers, Mindscape, Outbreak. Okay. Abilities. So this is probably a character, right? This isn't so much a story arc. This is a
Right. This
character.
is a character.
Superhuman strength and durability, visual acuity, enhanced speed, agility, stamina, reflexes, flotation like substance altering eye beam, immunity to sleep, resistance to mental attacks, use of imaginator defense, or I'm sorry, device,
I'm
and
assuming
infinity
that's
circuit.
yeah, I'm assuming that the Imaginator device or that's probably something to do with his ability to go into people's dreams.
Yeah. Okay. So
Like
interesting. What else do you know
this
about
would
this guy?
be
Because I don't really. I could read this paragraph, but nobody wants me to read Wikipedia to them. So.
right. So what I know, and I don't know a ton more about this character. This is not a character that's going to move the needle for a ton of people, but Nightmare is one of the bigger villains for him. So the character with Nightmare was mentioned in season 1 of Loki, if you remember
Oh,
correctly.
the nightmare level was mentioned,
Right.
which I thought was just a level of TVA.
I mean,
No.
there was definitely some speculation that it had something to do with Nightmare,
Okay.
the the villain.
I mean, I'm interested. I think this is a
It sounds
interest.
cool.
Yeah, it does, and it does open a door, I think, for Blade or the Midnight Suns.
Hmm.
The other Midnight Suns. So, that's cool. I think why not do that?
Hmm.
I'm kind of interested to look into it a little bit more and read about um
Yeah,
more of this.
yeah. Death coming back, not necessarily for Midnight Suns, but coming back as a fairly big player in the Supernatural saga. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
you're on board.
Yes, I would love me some death.
That's what he says every day. I'm worried for him.
Just, I like to walk out in the middle of the street, and I just like that's what I chant. People get a little bit, they get a little worried. I'm
Very
fine.
rude.
I'm
Yeah.
fine. Doing okay, people.
So, and then the final part of the Supernatural rumors is that Ironheart is going to play a play a part in the Supernatural saga.
Iron. Oh, yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
So
But oh boy, were the fanboys angry. Um,
yeah,
the the people who have loved everything Marvel forever, yet somehow forget about that character or forget about other major comic arcs and stories that have happened because it doesn't suit their whim at that moment.
yeah. As I was just kind of scrolling through some of the Wikipedia stuff, he's bonded to Rick Sheridan.
Yep.
What's kind of cool, like, yeah, when Rick wakes up, he automatically disappears. So kind of it has a little bit of that Moon Knight thing to it,
Hmm.
where you got
Also,
not a multi-personality thing, but
I was going to say very Freddy Krueger too.
oh, yeah, that is kind of fun.
Yeah, that that makes me very excited for the potential of this character, just because it feels like it could go really bonkers, and a good supernatural kind of thing should be kind of weird.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like
it's
this is
almost like I'd expect Strange to show up a little bit, but
Mhm.
I like it. I like where it's going.
Yeah,
If this is
I would
true.
yeah, I would love for like a show like this for Sam Raimi to be involved.
Yes, I could see this really a suitable choice for him to be a part of,
You know,
as long as he doesn't throw
oh no,
sleepy dust and fights with sleepy dust, or
I think that works.
that does.
Yeah, that works in this one. It works better in this one than it did in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and throwing music around.
You might be right.
So then let's move on to the news, starting with Brad Winderbaum in an interview talking about how he has seen the first images animation for the first episode of Marvel Zombies Season 2.
Oh, oh,
Oh, I'm I'm kind of excited for it.
yeah, I was enjoying it, honestly. I
Yeah.
thought it was fun. I
I
think it was
didn't
kind of I'm trying to think where I ranked it. Like not ranked it, but like where I felt like, I
yeah.
mean, animation wise, how it did. I think the ending is where I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. I was excited about
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yep, that's where I landed as well, was with that ending. I was like, yes, please give me some more. And so I'm excited to see what that might look like.
Yeah.
But then the next one actually ties into our topic in a pretty nice way. In that Daredevil Born Again season 3 is filming and set photos. Now, this hasn't been confirmed that this is 100% real, but like these are photos that show Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Mike Coulter, and Finn Jones back for Daredevil Born Again season 3.
Didn't Finn Jones like post something too, like in a workout, like he was working out and it was a hashtag Marvel or a hashtag,
Something. Yeah, I
I
think
don't
there was
know.
something, but there has also been a number of times where celebrities who have played Marvel characters have just done that and not been in anything. But it's very John Barenthal of him, because that's how we learned that Punisher was coming.
Apparently I was in a gym working out. Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Oh, it was Barenthal's trainer who
Oh,
posted something with some hashtags.
oh, I don't remember that.
Yep. That was our first, like, oh, Punisher's gonna be in this.
Oh, I was thinking back to when Hemsworth was doing his other show and he was training in the show, it's like his Limitless series or something like
Oh
that.
yeah. Yep.
And you saw him training and trying to prep for that. and incorporating it a little bit into one of the episodes. It was cool. He went all
Nice.
out. It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's it for the
I don't know.
news.
And
What
so
do you feel
yeah,
about that?
I don't know. Cole, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to, I hope Finn Jones, like, I hope he just really knocks it out of the park. Because I've been trash talking him a little bit. Not trash talking,
Mhm.
just kind of I wasn't super I didn't love Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Iron Fist. It sounded weird for a second. I'm like, okay. Iron Fist. It was okay. And I don't think that it got the same attention, right, that
Yeah.
Daredevil got and that Jessica Jones got. So
It was like
it's
they
unfair
wanted to get
shake.
him in, yeah, they wanted to get him into the Defenders, and but they had ideas for everybody else.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm sympathizing him with him here, and I just want him to do well, and I want it to come together well. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Like it was when the Defenders finally came together, I was like, okay, that's cool. And then it was kind of everything was on its way out, it seemed like. So it, I don't
Yeah,
know,
they
lost the
were.
momentum. It
Mhm.
almost took too long.
Yeah, it's one of those things where most shows, again, most streaming shows last about 3 seasons. The last 3 seasons, I don't know if I've had this conversation before on the podcast or just with people in real life, but the last 3 seasons, because that's about how long they keep bringing in new people. Once you get
Yeah.
past that third season, you might get some resubscribes, but you're not seeing the jump that you were, unless it's a mega hit like a Stranger Things. Then I would bet even Stranger Things, the number kept on decreasing and probably notably decreased.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for for the Defenders and for everything there, it definitely was on the winding down phase.
I mean, do you want to have a Defenders series or do you want them to just kind
I
of
want them to be part of
overlap?
Daredevil. I want them to be part of Daredevil Born Again. And I think Daredevil Born Again can be a show that is mainly focused on Daredevil, but the other heroes who are in Hell's Kitchen area can play significant roles. Like there might be a season where Daredevil works a whole lot more with the Iron Fist, or there might be a season where he works a whole lot more with Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. I mean, there's a rumor that they'll have Jessica Jones and Luke Cage married and they'll have a kid, which I believe they do in the comics in the New Avengers. So Squirrel Girl babysits the kid. So
I, I don't, I mean, is it going to be something? I mean, I don't know if it would last this long, but they have the individual character series, right? Daredevil's got his, Jessica Jones hers, the other two, and then do they do their things, but then the stories end up kind of folding into each other?
I don't
I
think
think that's just, I don't think they can do that.
that's too
It's
much. This
it's
is
kind of intriguing though, like to do it at a ground level like that and to have a big story arc, kind of
but
fun,
yeah,
but
what I'm saying, and maybe I didn't say it well, or maybe you're just
I'm
saying,
just adding
yeah,
my own little
adding.
thoughts onto it, but
Yeah, because it could be cool. I agree with you. I just don't think that would land. I think that it's too much expectation.
do you also think that people are really looking for a Luke Cage series? I
No.
mean, I can't speak, I mean, me personally, I don't have enough invested in the character, although I would say season one of his show was actually it was pretty good and
Oh
I
yeah.
I
I
enjoyed it,
think
but
yeah, people are going to be really excited to have Luke Cage back. People are going to be like, okay, Danny Rand's back too. Um, I haven't even watched the shows, and I'm throwing shade at Danny Rand, but they're going to be excited to see him back in a Daredevil show. They're not going to be excited to if they did a whole Luke Cage show. And I think, like, thinking about this, okay, you need to have a villain come in, assuming that Kingpin's not going to be the main antagonist in season three. Does the Hand show up again or something like that? What gang would make sense? What
I
group would make sense?
I would love it maybe if Mr. Negative maybe rolled into that
Uh,
from
yeah,
Brand New
I
Day
assuming he's in there,
in the
but
series.
no, in Brand New Day.
Yeah, assuming he is in there, if he
I
were to
I
roll
would
that
agree
in.
with you, except for one big thing.
Oh no.
Spider-Man character.
But they're playing so nice and it's cute.
I know.
Sony and Marvel. And I would
Uh,
like to just kind of clarify, I think that maybe more, I don't know if Disney would see money in having a Luke Cage and Iron Fist necessarily. There could be, I would say if the script was there and the story was good, they may reconsider that if it's that good. But I don't know if they would want to, it just seems like a characters that they're really, I don't know if they would want to develop. They just maybe
well,
be more sprinkling him in with Daredevil talking about.
yeah. And how much of your show investment do you want to focus on Hell's Kitchen and kind of this one area? Because we've talked about the rumors for the champions, and that's not gonna that's gonna be something big. So it's one of those things where you don't want to create too many shows.
Yeah, I
It's
don't think they
the-
have enough time
Yeah,
to
people
do it
don't have
all.
enough time.
No,
We find time, but
barely.
sometimes it is finding time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to Daredevil Born Again, episodes 2 and 3. And let's non-spoiler thoughts first on those 2 episodes. I kind of,
Hmm.
I'm going to kick it off because I kind of gave my initial thing, and it's what I said to you in the chat or in our text messages too. The end of episode 3 feels like the beginning of the season. There
Yeah.
there's just a lot of, again, jumping between a lot of characters, a lot of storyline. And at the end of episode 3, we've actually followed a particular storyline for a little while. And that's where it really, it for me, it feels like it's hitting. It's not bad, but at the same time, I didn't like episode 2, I didn't love. Episode 2, I would kind of say the same thing I said about episode episode 1 actually. But episode 3, especially where it ended, has me intrigued for what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah. I I think I'm right there with you on that. As we were before we started this, we're like, what happened in episode two? Like it granted we watched it last I watched it last week. I think you also watched it
Same.
last week. So it's been, 5 days or so since we've seen it. But was it memorable like episode three was? Not exactly, but I'm typically for, a lot of story and a lot of like details and stuff like that.
hmm
But
It wasn't developing the story though for a
well,
lot of it.
yeah, like you had the it's so kind of close to home when I'm watching some of these like the anti-vigilante
Yeah.
task force, right? It's because like in season or in episode two, you have where Angela and her mom
No,
are
no. We're
no?
down in
Oh, we're
spoilers
set.
yet, Greg.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, can we get into spoilers? Let's just
Yeah,
jump in. Let's
let's
do
go
it.
to spoilers.
Okay.
Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You have been warned. Spoilers, because somebody likes to spoil stuff.
Yeah, that's what I do. It's
All
my
right,
favorite.
so
It's my favorite.
yeah, let's
Okay.
yeah.
So I'll I'm just gonna say that that's Angela and her mom, right, are
Mhm.
taken. And so there is that setup there. And you
No,
see a little bit of
just the
her
mom is taken.
sorry, the mom is taken. They experience the AT or AFTV, whatever yeah. What anti
AVT.
AVT, thank you. Acronyms are hard, people. But you also get to see a little bit of Angela and her superheroism kind of poking out a little bit, kind of not so afraid as they're in that convenience store. I don't
Right.
know.
She's ready to stand up against the bad guys.
Right, right.
And
Um,
it's yeah, so like that's good development. I liked that piece. I liked actually a lot of the stuff we had with the AVT because that sets up the story. That sets up what we're going for is these 2 groups really against each other, one headed by Fisk, one headed by Daredevil. But then we got a whole bunch of
Matt and Paige sitting behind a crate. I don't know, like,
a little bit of that, but we also had a whole bunch of BB and
oh,
oh why
Danny,
yeah, Daniel. And
Daniel,
then
yeah.
yeah, and then we had Heather Glenn and Vanessa scenes. And the Heather Glenn stuff is not hitting home for me.
I just, I, since we're in spoilers, I am feeling more and more like she's heading towards another me. But,
Yeah, I
um,
mean, they need to do something big with this because otherwise
otherwise there's no payoff,
it's
really.
real bad.
Yeah. I, I think there's a lot of good stories set up, but I don't know. It just,
There's so much setup It's only been set up, is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, could be. I'm having a hard time pinpointing what it's not giving me in these episodes. Because there's still some really good stuff, and I like what's happening in between the characters. Heather Glenn thing aside, I still don't quite understand what they're doing with that. But
Has there been enough character development, though?
um,
Like, I don't think there's been much character development. I think most of the jumping around has been plot development.
I would say, I mean, because what we don't need Fisk, we don't need like development for Fisk and Vanessa. We don't need it for Daredevil so much, other than I guess figuring out where he stands in his vigilante. Is he more vigilante, beat the crap out of these people as hard and fast as I can, or is he more of the justice side of? I think that's the they're
And I
leaning
think,
into the former rather than the latter. But
yeah. And I
so
think though that's what I'm talking about though, and what I want more of because and honestly, Vanessa Fisk would be a great one to have had some more of that character development as like maybe I don't know, her concern over different things or
is her and Buck doing something like on the side? Because
I
that's
don't know.
that's the feel I'm getting. Is it just
This
me?
definitely feels like that. It feels
Because
like there has to be something, and the best Marvel projects, even like the best Marvel projects, give us character development, even for characters we've seen a lot of already. And so, yeah, I do want more character development. And I think giving the characters something that they have to develop against is important. And right now, I don't know what Matt or Wilson or Karen, any of those characters are developing, like where their internal struggles going to be. I think the best like character development work we got was with Angela and her because it's going to be a struggle for her as how does she be a hero, not just out for revenge.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've even got character development from Matt's lawyer Christine. All right, I should know this by now. God, we suck.
We literally said
Like,
that we would
but
not remember. Um, and we succeeded. It is,
it's not going to be.
oh, where is it? Where's the actor? How am I blanking on the name? Come on. And of course, some of the characters on Google don't actually have the character name with them. Sheila,
Kristen McDuffie,
Kristen McDuffie,
Kirsten. Sorry, not
Kirsten
Kristen.
McDuffie.
Kirsten McDuffie. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Hey, we told you last episode that this would happen again.
yeah.
We don't lie here on the podcast for better or worse. No.
You you get what you get on this. We wear our ignorance on our. Yeah, there's some character development for her. It's still kind of
Yes.
like, she's just trying to do the right thing. She's trying to do by the law. She's trying to get the swordsman off, right? But she's stuck. I don't even know if I'm bleeding into episode 3 at this point, but
Yeah, a little bit, but we're talking about the whole.
yeah. So
And I
I think
I
I'm
will
agreeing with you in the
Mhm.
end of it is a lot of plot and maybe it's going to pay off, but not a lot of character development, which again, I don't know if I need because a lot of it, but you're correct. A good show, a good writer is going to have even the characters that we're familiar with have their characters do something that is
Right.
intriguing. So,
Because otherwise it's just you'd be like, why am I not just rewatching the first season? And
yeah.
I will take back a little bit what I said. I think Karen Page has potential for some interesting character development where she grabs the one AVT guy
Hmm.
and Daredevil Matt's like, wait, what? We're doing that now? And she's like, yeah, we got to do that. This is what we do now. And I think that has potential for both her character development and Matt's of is he going to be fine with it? Is she going to take it too far?
Yeah. It feels like it's going to maybe divide them.
Mhm. And that's what I want. It's like I want there to be a reason for the characters to struggle, the characters to have to come to an understanding that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah. I'm looking at like the whole cast.
Hmm.
And oddly enough, Catherine Lanassa's in there. I remember her. She's also in The Pit. She's
Okay.
the head nurse. I don't know if you watch that show, but she's
Nope.
amazing. I just don't remember her being in Born Again. That aside, talking about characters with the
Hmm.
development and like that are kind of really pulling me in, is again, we may have talked about this last week, is Matthew Lillard's character, right?
Yeah.
He's doing a great job. I think his character is really interesting. I am curious with what they're doing with Bullseye. Uh,
Hmm.
so that's some good stuff. Angela's obviously very sad. I'm curious. I have been curious about Buck. Like, there's all these like characters, I'm curious about them, but I'm just not getting. It's not that I'm not getting. Maybe I'm not being patient for it. I want, I guess, more out of their stories. I want to know about them, but
Hmm.
um,
We have been,
the plot's
yeah,
important. Like we gotta. I think you want if they can establish a lot of this plot ahead of time, then it paves the way for what's about to be coming.
yeah, because what we're about to is a massive street war in New York City between the AVT and everybody who they had locked up.
Right.
Be
They're kind of it's the cat's out of the bag almost
yeah,
with this ABT stuff. So, which is then going to lead to Fisk.
yep. And that's why to me this feels like episode 3 feels like episode 1. I think if they had started us out with Heather Glenn, oddly enough, her going to Jacques Duquesne and basically doing her test like she did, and then her lying about it. That's great. Like that works because it makes us understand how like there are no rules anymore. And then we work forward to the trial and we see how much of a sham the trial is. And then we have the we have the scene probably where where Kingpin puts out the plea for people to help him find Matt Murdock because oh the poor blind lawyer. I li- like that's was well played. And then you have the ABT coming to Matt and Karen's apartment, and you basically go from there of hey, this one agent is willing to turn to help you get into Red Hook and go from there.
Which is that going to come back around? Like in some way, it's weird.
Oh,
It seems it
what the
kind of
guy?
stuck. Yeah, the one that Karen begged.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Is that going to come back around? Is that just was he just there as a way to for them to get information?
Oh, I think
He's so willing to help, but like
so. I think
I don't
what
know.
it's going to be is I think we're going to see the struggle now with all these different characters, all these different vigilante characters, like the swordsman, White Tiger, when she gets onto the scene. Maybe we find out that Jessica Jones was being held as well. These characters are going to want to have kind of revenge. And Daredevil's going to have to try and point them and work them so that they are not just blindly going after that. And instead, he's going to try and point them towards Fisk. But that won't stop necessarily the AVT. The AVT, though, is going to figure out that, ooh, somebody in our group has been tipping off information. Probably it will happen another time or two that this guy, maybe another time that this guy helps Daredevil. And then they're going to start to turn on themselves. And that's how they're going to be taken out to some extent.
Yeah, could be.
Lean forward, closer to your mic.
Am I not? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
You sounded far back because you were.
oh, did I?
Yeah.
I was kind of leaning back. I was imagining. Um, I lost my train of thought now. Appreciate that.
Oh, you were talking about what you thought of my idea and about ready to praise me greatly.
I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly how it's going to play out. It seems whether it falls in on itself, maybe.
I think
Um,
to some extent, yeah.
it could. I think that I just was. It seemed a little bit either easy, like they just got this guy and they happened to get the guy that. Well, I know he kind of went to Karen. He kind of
He
separated
wanted to
himself,
be.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just weird. It's a little bit
Hmm.
off-putting, I guess. So I wasn't sure what they're gonna do with that, but maybe that will come back around.
Hmm.
Uh, but I definitely
How
see
about
that the whatever I can't anti-vigilante task force.
AVT?
Thank you. It does feel that I don't. I are you thinking they're going to turn on Fisk or just each other?
Each other.
Yeah, if I won't go Fisk.
Yeah, like nobody's. They all saw what Fisk did to that one guy last season.
Right. I would
So,
say like it's important for us to see some of the stuff, the rioting and the how people are not standing for it as well. I was
mhm.
That's
Except,
interesting.
yeah, how they weren't standing for it in some areas, but also BB report. Like a lot of people are like, yeah, crime is way down.
I'm sorry, but it's so
This is definite.
mirroring. It's
Yeah,
so mirroring of what's happening that I was like, when did they film this? Because it didn't seem like it was such a reality at the time they were filming it, but it very much it either really was and they are trying to mirror it, or it just so happens that entertainment is mirroring life. I
yeah.
don't know.
I think
Weird.
there's definitely some element where like, they're picking some of the logical conclusion sort of things and going with that. And unfortunately, the logical conclusion sort of things have been playing out.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
And you
it's
think I'd be more like personally, I feel like I'd be more interested in it, but it's like I don't know. There's just something about this show that I cannot figure out why I'm not like craving the next episode. Three, I mean, after episode three, I've kind of was feeling a little bit more about that, but it's just something isn't hitting with.
I mean, look, if I were to say something about like, okay, the start of this season to compare to the start of the first season, the start of the first season, we had Foggy's death, and the stakes stayed high from there. Here we started out in this weird, like, everything is awesome, but we all know it's not, but that's what we're being told, and everybody's just kind of living life normalish, except for a few people behind the scenes.
Because what they're trying to do, they're trying to nail Kingpin, right?
Yeah,
But there isn't, yeah, that high stakes feeling of pressure. I don't know. There's not really a time pressure
yeah.
happening, is
I
there?
mean, yeah, there's a time pressure only because the more power, the more people Fisk takes off the streets, the more the AVT does their things, the life just gets worse for other people. But it's not, yeah, there's no specific ticking clock of
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, and I think you kind of nailed it there. It's like I don't feel that pressure of something that I mean I understand that they want to get this they want to take down Kingpin because if you don't do it
Kingpin
now it's
bad.
only going to get worse. I
Yeah,
think that there's got to be more building in that those scenes of people in the streets being defiant,
right.
right? So
Right. Or like a better demonstration of how BB the BB videos, not the one with her dressed up as Fisk, but the ones about like, oh yeah, New York is great. Seeing something with those where like the camera when the video ends, you're in the scene and the camera pans and you see like how bad it actually is around it or something like that. There just needs to be more. There needs
yeah.
to be some. There's no imminent threat because Fisk is already in control.
Right. Yeah. And they kind of were trying to build and show how swayed government is by some of that court stuff, how the three judges and the obvious one of them is like, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing and but they feel like if they don't make this kind of call that they're gonna get, I don't know, something from like it's like they're the people who they report to are gonna come down on them, right? It's like there's stakes for them. It I'm sensing what's happening, but it just
Hmm.
doesn't make me worried. It
Yeah.
doesn't give me that anxiety that others.
Yeah. It was like you think about it with White Tiger, like the trial happening. There was this impending, is he going to be convicted or not? But also, what are these rogue officers going to do if he's
Mhm.
not? There's just none of that impending what's going to happen. Even Bullseye, I don't feel it because it feels like he's helping. And so it feels like Obviously, he's not a good guy, but it kind of feels like he is.
I think he was like they crossed him, right? I think
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
Vanessa like took him for a ride in a sense and kind of used him, and he was manipulated. So I think he's getting payback for that, which I get and I don't mind.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like
But he's not a threat to Daredevil at this
right.
point. Like honestly, there is no threat to Daredevil at this point. The
Well, now it's Matt Murdock. Murdock has got a threat of the trying to be exposed. He's got an entire like New York after like trying to find him,
right,
right?
find
But
him.
that's not really threatening. It's more just, I mean, it does create like a, oh God, how is he going to get around this since his face is so well known at this point? But I don't know. I feel bad criticizing this. Like I feel like I'm not enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, but it just again, there's something that's not there yet, and it very well could show up in the next couple episodes
Hmm.
and launch my opinions into a different direction.
Hmm.
Um,
I will go as far as to say that I thought the first two episodes were okay-ish.
yeah.
And emphasis on the ish part of it. If this was something where the whole season was out and I would watch those first two episodes, I may not continue.
Hmm.
I might just be like, yeah, that's good. Obviously I would for the podcast, but it reminded me of how kind of hard it was to get through the start of Daredevil on Netflix and how I failed at that. But this one did it let me down in a different way. It's,
Uh, I I think they got the pieces. I think it's
I
just
think,
something.
oh,
I
yeah,
think they just so as we're talking,
breaking,
I'm like watching a little bit of it just to try and get some memories of what they happened. And like seeing Karen Page, I'm like, there's good stuff in there. There's she's battling something that's really good,
yeah,
right? The AVT is like I'm so intrigued by that because it seems pretty close to home, right? And it's a story that oh God, I really want to get into that. I don't care about Red Hook, honestly, but I know that that's part of what Kingpin needs to do, and I'm just not seeing like the big draw or threat other than
other
it's
than,
an open port, right? It just doesn't
yeah,
have like the you got to do something about this, even though I know it does have
hmm,
ramifications if you don't. So
yeah. But like I think about, well, there are a couple parts we haven't touched on in
okay,
these two episodes
yeah.
that I want to touch on a little bit. First off, your thoughts on BB being the one behind the mask for the Fisk
Uh,
videos.
it was kind of my number one
Yeah.
person I thought it would be, but I was hoping it was gonna be something else.
Yep.
So.
That's where I
Uh,
land on that too.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I I can't quite figure out, and I like this, but I can't quite figure out what's happening between Daniel and her, where she sits on this, and if it seems like he knows that it's her, but she's not given up the ghost just yet on that. And again, it's an interesting choice of characters to put together, and there seems to be friction slash friendship there,
Hmm.
and I like what they're building. And I'm gonna probably just toss out a prediction. I think Daniel dies,
I think he does too.
and kind of sad about that because I kind of like his sleazy character, and I almost want him to build up and to be like another boss of some kind that goes off just it's just gross. He's
Hmm.
because he plays a gross character now, but I just want that to be magnified times 10 and be sort of this other kingpin character that comes about. Doesn't have to be rivals necessarily, but maybe I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm guessing they're going the direction of he's gonna get smoked.
Yep. Yeah. It comes out that
And
his
maybe due to
computer.
BB, maybe because he is protecting BB, and
Yeah.
because Fisk has warned him twice now.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And then the other thing, what did you think of like, and this is the part that really gets me excited for where it's going, is all the vigilantes out now and just what's going to happen. What are the streets going to look like?
I didn't really get the sense that they had rounded up a ton of vigilantes. I just
They
was
also
more
rounded up a ton of rich people, but
right. The people
I
he
think
didn't
that,
like, and
yeah, there are definitely going to be vigilantes in there, like Duquesne.
yeah. I mean, I like that they got released from their cages so oddly. That was interesting. Like, was it just a latch? I don't know. Or no, it was a card. There was a
Hmm.
card. I forget, I
Yeah.
think this was on New Rockstars, and they were making fun of like because they thought it was just like a latch that they lifted up, but then Eric's like, no, I think they had a card. Maybe it was a Screen Crush. I don't know. And those people had the same thought as I did. I was like, you're telling me that the people were in a cage and all they had to do was like lift up a latch to get out, and nobody got it. Nobody figured out how to do that. That's stupid. It was a key card. That's which they got off of that one officer or the
Yes.
ABT person. I guess having more vigilantes back out in the streets, which I don't know if they really had that many, doesn't do much because I don't think they're going to really come back around for anything.
I think they
I
have.
was looking for Angela's mom the whole time, honestly.
Yeah, I saw her.
That's Did you? Okay, good.
I'm
I
just
was like,
pretty
I
sure, yeah.
hope that I just missed her. Because it would have been that was weird otherwise that I wouldn't have seen her.
Mhm.
But um,
Well, I kind of look at it like this is the first time that a we potentially have a timer going because now all these
yeah.
people are out. Fisk is going to have to accelerate finding Matt Murdock
And there's a
because
lot more
he
people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
knows that Matt will point these people against him and get everything taken care of the right way.
Yeah.
If that,
Yeah, Fisk is basically in trouble now. Like it's crumbling
yes.
on him. And so that crumbles. He gets angrier. Vanessa loses interest, hits up with the Buckman.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, Buckman. Sorry, gotta throw a Simpsons reference. Even though it's Duffman, I get it. Buckman. It's not fun if I have to explain the joke, so I'll stop explaining my jokes.
You didn't need to.
I know,
You
I shouldn't
just
have.
did.
I just wasn't sure. Like, I don't know my audience, right? I don't know what I need to explain and what I don't to sound funny. So sad. Uh, um, it's gonna crumble on him, and I think that's where he's gonna lose it. And when you lose it, when you lose your calm like that, I think that he's gonna make mistakes.
Hmm.
So,
I
but
think
I like
I
what you're
think
saying.
mhm,
It's kind of the clock has started now.
yes. And I think they've kind of showed us I think where he's going to lose it and how he's going to lose it publicly.
the the community will come back and start turning on probably,
Right.
and that for him is devastating. He's got a vision of New York. What is interesting also is that they all she Vanessa also kind of asked him like, hey, what if we would you ever want to go bigger, like, and he was kind of saying yeah, he's like he would. I think they were saying taking over another place or being like the king of another place or something like that, and he was interested in that. So I was like, are they hinting at something where he goes bigger, or is it
Like
like,
he becomes president.
yeah, somebody's got to be president in this universe.
Mhm. I
Nobody knows who it
think
is.
yeah, but I think there will be a snapping point for him like you're talking about. And I think it's going to be the mayoral celebrity boxing match.
Really? You think he's
Because
gonna lose his?
he takes out so much aggression when he fights. Like we saw it in season one, how he toyed with Vanessa's boy toy,
Oh, yeah,
and we saw what he
Adam.
did. Yeah, we saw what he did to his boxing instructor.
Right.
I think when he's in those very physical situations, that's when he lets himself go a little bit. And I think with what's happened now, it's going to push him. And there might even be something done at the boxing match.
Maybe he kills the guy, and then
Yeah,
that's what they got him on. Like they weren't able to get him on anything else, and Fisk was his own. It's his own demise that way.
could be something like that. I think it's going to be more so like they'll stop the fight in time, but everybody who's been like, oh yeah, Fisk has done a good job. He's cleaned up the streets. They're going to see him for the monster that the Kingpin is.
See, I'm thinking that people start seeing, and that's already kind of overtaking the community and the citizens of New York. And he is so heated over that. He then gets in the ring, destroys the person, and that is like the last straw for people thinking like, wow, this guy has absolutely lost it. He is not who he says he is. And
Yeah,
then things just tumble at that.
yeah. We're basically
Whichever,
getting to
that's
the
yeah.
same thing, just slightly different ways. Which I do think, like a televised boxing match, it's the perfect time to do that. Maybe BB hacks into like all sorts of things like that would have jumbo screens and stuff like that to show the action. Maybe she hacks into the system there, has planted something on Daniel's computer, and airs one of the Fisk videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that will be fun to see where that goes. So there's definitely things that I'm looking forward to. I also I here's I guess one more question and then we need to wrap up.
Okay.
We're recording later than normal.
Yeah.
But do we think that the AVT is really even fully taken out in this show, or is that something that's going to happen in um, Punisher?
Punisher.
And this is just about going to be about taking Fisk down.
I want the AVT to bleed into the Punisher series because
Yeah.
I think that is the big story.
Yep.
And like I think that's kind of what the story was about is how even in reality we talked about this at some point one of our podcasts a while back about the Punisher logo being incorrectly
Yep.
and wrongly, idiotically. So I think they want to address that. I think this is and it's the perfect way to do it. I think Barenthal would be and is 100% behind that type of
Yeah.
story. So
So then Daredevil, like this idea of war on the streets with the AVT or anything like that, that's probably not going to show up too much in this series.
I think it might just come down to Powell and Frank in the Punisher series, but
Hmm.
yeah, there's something that's not resolved with the AVT, I think for sure. Which I don't you would think that would stop with Fisk, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's gonna bleed over.
Yeah. You have to have a couple of the characters, probably the David North, not David North, but
Who's the dude that whoever just joined back? He had the
yeah,
scarred face. I think he's got a
North.
vendetta.
Yeah.
Oh, is that him? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the one who was the bigger name actor that they were talking about, like they being New Rock Stars, Screen Crush, were talking about like, okay, this pay attention to this character because it's not going to just be uh a one-off thing. This isn't going to just be a minor thing.
And honestly, I thought that he was gonna actually maybe kind of be the more voice of reason
Hmm.
from that group of people, North, that is.
Hmm.
But
He was not.
the I guess not.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
let's
don't think I
let's wrap up there. We'll have
yeah,
more
let's
to
leave it at
talk
that.
about next week. New episode tomorrow. We were hopeful. I mean, there's definitely was a rumor out there that there could have been a Doomsday trailer today, but CCXP is coming out or is in 2 weeks. So I do think we will have something Doomsday to talk about soon too.
I hope so. I
Yeah.
got my hopes up. That was
Mhm. And I
that was a
dashed them.
sucker,
Yeah,
man.
no.
Yeah, that was a sucker, and I fell for it.
Yes. But with that, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate everybody checking it out. And if you enjoy this content, Greg gave a few ways to help support the podcast at the beginning. Also, drop a comment on the video. Let us know how much are you loving Daredevil Born Again Season 2. We appreciate that interaction and feedback. But with that, we will see you next time.
Buckman. Oh yeah.